So we are group 4 and our topic is first part topic is introduction to MVC Laravel framework. First is what is Laravel framework? It is a simple PHP framework frequently used for web-based or web application development. It is known for its exceptional characteristics like reliability, high performance, finer efficiency, articulated ORM systems, a multiplicity of authentication options, expandability, modularity, facilitates caching, secure SQL processing, dedicated SQL builder, RESTful controller, uncomplicated coding rules, and etc. This or the PHP framework permits the code developers for specific templating, routing flow provision, and database manipulation or querying. So, what is MVC? So, MVC is an acronym for Model View Controller. It represents architecture developments or architecture developers adopt when building application. With the MVC architecture, we look at the application structure with regards to how the data flow of our application works. So it is a software architecture that separates domain, application, or business logic from the rest of the user interface. It does this by separating the application into three parts. So the model, the view, and the controller. So the first part is the model. Manages fundamental behaviors in data of the application. It contains respond to requests for information, respond to instruction to change the state of its information, and even notify observers in event-driven systems when information changes. This could be a database or any number of data structures or storage systems. In short, it is the data and data management of the application. So the next part is the view. So it is effectively provides the user interface element of the application. It will render data from the model into a form that is suitable for the user interface. So next is the controller. So the controller receives user input and makes calls to model objects in the view to perform appropriate action. So those are the parts. The model, the view, and the controller. So here we have the MVC or sample MVC structure. So here, as you can see, you have the model. The model sends data to the controller while the controller initiate a queries for the model. Here the view is pointing to the user actions to the controller and the controller updates the view. So more about the MVC structure. So a model is a representation of a real-life instance or object in a code base. So the next is the view represents the interface through which the user interacts with the application when the user takes an action. So when it takes an action, the controller handles the action and updates the model if necessary. So we have here a simple scenario of how the MVC works in our website or a sample website. So if you go to an e-commerce website, the different pages you see are provided by the view layer. So in a website, what you see that we call the view layer. So when you click on a particular product or image to view more, the controller processes the user's action. So when you make an action, the controller process the user action. So next is the This may involve getting data from data source using the model layer. So if you involve getting data, that's when the model layer take its action. So the data is then bundled up together and arranged on a view layer and displayed to the user. So rinse and repeat. So that's what happened. It will just do it again and again. If the user take an action, then the MVC will uh, take or process in the website. So that's all for the.
Hi, my name is Jean-Claude Iko.
Good day, everyone. I am Ernest James and Usaraga, and I'll be reporting the introduction to Laravel Framework, specifically setting up Laravel. I outlined here the steps that we need to do. So the first one is you need to have a SAMP. So I already download my SAMP here, as you can see. Open your SAMP, then download a composer at getcomposer.org. Then click download here and download and run composer setup.exe. After downloading, click that one. Okay, and install for all users. Next. Okay, so the next step is that uh, install the composer, then the command line should be at this path. So let's check. Okay, so it is on the same path. Then click next. So click this one, then press next, then install. So we're done installing, finish. Then after, okay, then next step is we'll open the CMD. the command prompt. Then we'll type uh, composer. So we'll write here composer, press enter, and let's wait. Okay, now it's done. Let's clear the screen first. Okay, next step is open C drive. Okay, let's check our C drive. Okay, then click SAMP here. I already clicked SAMP folder, then we'll go to htdocs, then copy the path. Okay, copy. Then for the on the sixth step, we'll write cd space, then paste the path. Okay, press enter. Okay, now we're on htdocs file here. Then we'll type in the cmd composer create dash project Laravel slash Laravel space cms dash dash prefer dash dist. Press enter. Then we'll wait until it is successfully installed. Okay, let's wait. Okay, so after you can see this application key set successfully, then you're done. Um, you're done with the seventh step. Now let's go to our eighth step, which is open the htdocs and go to the CMS folder. So again, in here, we are already on our htdocs and we already have our CMS folder. So this is the one that we made for step 7. Click the CMS. After that one, copy the path. Wait, I'm sorry. Copy the path. Then we'll write PHP. We'll write this one, the CD space copy path. So write CD space copy path. Okay, now we're now on our CMS folder. Then we'll type PHP space artisan space server. Okay, so here, okay, my mistake. So PHP artisan serve. Press enter. Okay, let's wait. Okay, so here we already have our server. This one, copy that one. So we have our server here is 127.0.0.1 colon 8000. Copy that one, then paste it on your browser. Press enter. Okay, so now we're on our Laravel. So if you want to open your Laravel using SAMP, in here, click the SAMP. Open your SAMP. Then start the Apache. Then type here localhost, this one. Okay, so now you are already accessing Laravel. So that's all for setting up Laravel.
So hello, good day. Uh, I'm Agent Survey Hamok and I'm from Group 4. So I'm going to report, I'm going to discuss subtopic which is roots from introduction from Laravel Framework. First, routing setup. So routing lets you create your own URL paths based on the path you can load a closure or a controller. So routing setup, define a route, call the static name route followed by either a post or get. Any can also be used to match both post and get request to match the HTTP action. Next, set the path to match in what do call a closure or a controller. So this is how we call our localhost colon 8080 / hello. So these are how we call our route or route. So how it works. So open routes web.php. This is where we put route for application. So let's go to our, so here we have, so this is our project. So go to root and click on our web.php. So here we have the route get hello function and echo hello back. So we call our URL and say hello. So this is our route URL. So input or output hello there. Let's go back. So passing parameter. So passing parameter to root. So let's say we want to pass parameters. Call is the route and use the route get to hello name. So now we have our directory and our parameter, which is the name, and now we have the function with variable name and here and our output in our web page. So try that in our compiler. So / parameter is name, and our variable is name variable. So this and variable name. So let's go back to our first error functions. We need to add Peter. So now we have hello there Peter. So we can edit using here in our browser. So Parker. So that's how we pass a parameter in our route. Let's go back. Let's say we have an ID, so we could look up this ID inside our database. The same. Just change the ID. The return is the user and ID. So just the same. So note, router parameters cannot contain the minus character. Use an underscore instead. So note. So next, the optional route parameters. So now we have our optional. So our variable name has now a null value. So we need to put a value in order to access our URL route. So if we put null, let's say here, so we have a value here, it's equals to null. So say return try this one. Let's go back to the browser. Hello. Hello. So will not input. Try to input something. This is it. Hello there. This is. So will successfully open. So now we're going to with default value. So put a default value. So instead of null, put here a main. Then click save. Go back to our hello page. Since we put here Parker or Peter instead of Bruce. Of course, we'll access it still. Put that way. Yeah. If we close here. No. So that's it. So that's how we pass the parameter with default value. So there are 4 types of basic routes. First is the routes post, route get, route put, and route delete. So route post create an item. So example, create an item test. So if we create this, it will just output a posted in our URL, posted. Since that's how we echo. Next is the read route get, read, or display an item. So route con get test function echo. So this will output just in our local host or our URL route get, since we use get router get or route get. So whenever you put in a request without any data, we never receive data from a form. So next is the route get with forms or security, or it is put a call security measure built in within the Laravel. So we're going to run this one. So this route get input submit. So we're going to create a token value using the CSRF underscore token. I'm going to try this. First, let's put this into a comment. And try our code, which is the and there's a website. It's called test function. Test. So now we click, if we don't put anything, submit, we create the token, which is, you can see here, this is our token that is created by Laravel. Come back to our, whenever we put a result or request without any data, when we submit data or data from a form. So without inputting data, or we input data, we'll just create a token or a security measure. So next is the route put. So this one update an item. So the new will be the put display. Delete is delete, to delete a route or delete an item, route delete. So route closure. So target class, let's go, does not exist since we don't have a test controller index. So we don't need to write all the logic inside a route. We could just have a controller as a logic, and we tell route which method to look at whenever this route is hit. So we have a route closure, get test function echo test route closure. We don't have an index. So next is the CSRF protection. Laravel make it easy to protect your application from cross-site request forgeries. Cross-site request forgeries are a type of malicious exploit whereby unauthorized commands are performed on behalf of the authenticated user. So this is the one that we used earlier, which is the token. So that's help for the malicious unauthorized authenticated user. So next is the Laravel automatically generates a CSRF token for each activity session managed by the application. So this token is used to verify that the authentication user is the one actually making the request to the application. So here we have the CSRF protection, insert the form. So that's, so input type hidden name underscore token, put values as a PHP echo and CSRF token function. So methods for HTML forms do not support put, post, or delete action. So we defining put, post, or delete route that are called from an HTML form. You'll need to add a hidden method field to the form. The value sent with the method field will be used as a HTTP request method. So for example, we have here a form action equals or directly foo bar method post. So input hidden name is called method value put /. So these are example of form. So name routes allow you to conveniently generate URLs or redirects for a specific route. You may specify a name for a route with the as array key. So name routes, so we have here a route get user profile. These are also as new equal to profile function in a parameter. So you must specify the route name to control actions. Route get user profile. This one has a pure profile and uses user controller and show profile. So this one use a controller action. So the current route name method returns the name of the route handling the current request. So this one you have set a variable to a route, or you set a value as route in your variable. So these are the route command in our. So this page partition route list. So you can use this in the terminal. See here, HP partition route lists. Because we need first to set this to comment and save. Go back to our terminal. So here we can see a post, a get, a post, and a get again. So this command will show all the routes of the application. Hello, good day. So we are group 4. Going to discuss the topic introduction to Laravel Framework, which is working with Laravel MVC. So Model View Controller or MVC architecture, the most popular software architecture by far is the Model View Controller or MVC. MVC divides any large application into 3 parts. First, the model, the view, and the controller. Each of these components is built to handle a specific aspect of an application and has different purposes. So the first part is the model. So it contains all the data related logic that the user works with like the schemas and interfaces of a project, the databases and their fields. So for example, a customer object will retrieve the customer information from the database, manipulate or update the record in the database, or use it to render data. Next, the view. The view contains the UI and the presentation of an application. For example, the customer view will include all the UI components such as text boxes, drop-downs, and other things that the user interacts with. And the last part, or the third part, is the controller. Controller contains all the business-related logic and handles incoming requests. It is the interface between the model and the view. So for example, the customer controller will handle all the interaction and inputs from the customer view and the update the database using the customer model. The same controller will be used to view the customer data. So we have here a flow diagram of the model view controller or MVC. So you see you have the browser. We have an arrow to request in the controller and render the data sent to the view. How MVC architecture works. So first, the browser sends a request to the controller, then the controller interacts with the model to send and receive data. The controller then interacts with the view to render the data. The view is only concerned about how to present the information and not the final presentation. It will be dynamic HTML file that renders data based on what the controller sends it. Finally, the view will send its final presentation to the controller, and the controller will send that final data to the user output. Important thing is that the view and the model never interact with each other. The only interaction that takes place between them is through the controller. This means the logic of the application and the interface never interacts with each other, which makes writing complex applications easier. So, example, working diagram. So here we have the browser, we have the requested data is to get list of movies. So it send it to the controller, while the controller also send or render the data to get movies presentation, which is the list of movies. So in the controller tries to get also the movie data from the model. So what's going on? So figure 2. So first, a user inputs that they want a list of movies through a web browser or a mobile application. The browser will then send the request to the controller to get the list of movies. Next, the controller will ask the model to find the list of movies from the database. So now we have a sample code. So you can see here you have the route which is the route get type, and we have here the const movies or our schema. Last is to render or the views. So the controller sending request to us for movie list. So then the model searches the database and returns the list of movies to the controller. So here we create a movies model schema. So the controller gets the list of movies from the model, and the controller will ask the view to present the list of movies. So here we have code in our controller to get to view the present list movies. So the controller sending the movie list to view to render the list of movies. Then the view will receive the request and returns the rendered list of movies to controller in HTML. So this the view. So these are the HTML for the user UI that we'll see in this browser or mobile application. So the view returning list movies in form of HTML. So these are the HTML for the UI, the views. Lastly, the controller will take that HTML and return it back to the user, thus getting the list of movies as the output. So that's all for the working with Laravel.
Good day everyone, I'm Jid Making Rasha, and today I'm gonna discuss about the subtopic of Laravel Framework, the Laravel Eloquent ORM. So what is Eloquent ORM? It is one of the most important features of the Laravel Framework is that it comes with built-in ORM or object relation mapping called Eloquent ORM. So it refers to an advanced implementation of the PHP active record pattern, which make it very easy to interact with application database. Eloquent ORM is a very powerful yet very expressive ORM which allows you us to work with the database objects and relationships using much eloquent and expressive syntax. So in Laravel, each database table is mapped into corresponding eloquent model, and each of the eloquent model object include various methods for retrieving and updating the database. So let's proceed to the Eloquent ORM CRUD operation. So it makes it incredibly easy to perform CRUD operations such as create, read, update, delete on Laravel model. So since we have already covered how to create Laravel model in previous subtopics, so we will create new post under model and using following artisan command. So the PHP artisan make colon model post. So let's open the newly generated model file. At this point, your model should look like as following. And then if you want to edit and it should look like this. So next, Eloquent ORM create. So to insert a record in database table, we need to create a model instance, set or assign attributes values, and then call save method as following. This is the example. So in the line 7, we call the save method, and that's it. So we have two methods to insert a record in database table. So the first one is the first or create method. It will try to retrieve the record matching to the column value pair, and if the record not found in the table, a record will be inserted with a given column value pair. So the next one is the first or new method. It will try to retrieve the record matching to the column value pair. So if the record not found in the table, a new model instance will be created with a given column value pair. Then you need to call save method to save the record. So this is the example. So the line 2, I use the first or create method. It retrieve the post by the attributes or create if it doesn't exist. While the line 5 is the first or new method. It retrieve the post by the attributes or instantiate a new instance. Eloquent ORM read. It retrieving all records. So in Laravel, all records can be retrieved from a table using all method as following. So here is the example of all method, and then you can loop through result set for individual record as following. This is the example of loop through result set, the for each, then post as post, so echo post title. So we have the Eloquent ORM update. So to update a record, you have to retrieve it first, set values for attributes that you want to update, and then call the save method. So here are the example, the update code operation. The post up, post find, then post valid is my first post, and save and then call the save method. So the Eloquent ORM delete. So to delete a record in Laravel, simply call the delete method as following. And you can delete a record directly using destroy method instead of retrieving it first. So to do also, simply call destroy method passing single or multiple primary case as following. Primary case is a unique case. So you can also delete method and create result set as following. So here's the example, delete post, up post where publish 0 delete. So the next is the mass assignment. Laravel model allows us to assign multiple attributes values while creating model instance using the mass assignment. So in Laravel model, using a playable property, we can declare array of attributes that is mass assignable. So for security concern, Laravel support a guarded property which declare array of attributes that you do not want to be mass assignable. So here are the example of the mass assignment, the playable property, and then next the guarded property. So that's all, and this is my reference of this presentation. Good day everyone, so it's me again, Jude Making Gracia. I'm discussing today the Laravel Security of Laravel Framework. So storing password. Laravel provides a class called hash, class which provides secure bit-crypt hashing, so the password can be hashed in the following way. So password hash double colon make secret. Make method and check functions. So make function will take a value as argument and will return the hash value. So the hash value can be checked using the check function in the following way. Hash double colon check and then separate hash password. So the above function will return boolean value and it will return true if password match or false otherwise. So authenticating users. So the other main security features in Laravel is authenticating user and perform some action. Laravel has made this task easier, and to do this we can use auth attempt method in the following way. So here the example, if auth attempt in array email to email password and return redirect and then code. So CSRF protection or cross-site request forgery XSS. Cross-site scripting or XSS attacks when attackers are able to place client-side JavaScript code in a page viewed by other users. So to avoid this kind of attack, you should never trust any user submitted data or escape any dangerous characters. So you should favor the double brace syntax value in your blade templates and only use this syntax and where you're certain the data is safe displayed in its raw format. So to avoid this avoiding SQL injections, SQL injection vulnerability exists when an application inserts arbitrary and unfiltered user input in an SQL query. So by default, Laravel will protect you against this type of attack since both the query builder and Eloquent use PHP data objects or PDO class behind the scenes. So PDO uses prepared statements which allows you to safely pass any parameters without having to engage and sanitize them. Cookies or cookies secure by default. So Laravel makes it very easy to create, read, and expire cookies with its cookie class. So in Laravel, all cookies are automatically signed and encrypted. So this means that if they are tampered with, Laravel will automatically discard them. So this also means that you will not be able to read them from the client side using JavaScript. So forcing HTTPS when exchanging sensitive data. So HTTPS prevents attackers on the same network to intercept private information such as session variables and log in as the victim. And that's all for today. Thank you.